join us. I'm Joy,
And I'm Laura.
and this is The Witches of Letters, a supernatural rewatch podcast.
Buckle up as we dive into Season 5, Episode 14, My Bloody Valentine.
Okay, so I've been seeing a lot more supernatural themed art and artistry landing on my page recently, and I
Ah.
love it. So
Nice.
I want to give anybody who's listening an opportunity. If you make supernatural fan art or art in general, go ahead and submit it to the podcast email, and I will have a look through and see what shout outs I can do on the podcast. So the first one is one that I've picked because she's just a really nice artist and she's very, very, very talented and I like her a lot. So her name is Natalia Goncalves, and I'm going to include her link in my show notes this week. But her name on Instagram is basically just at Natalia Goncalves, which is Goncalves. So I'm pretty sure you can find her just from searching her if you want to. But she does these incredible black and white figure drawings of, well, I guess really not necessarily figure drawings, but like portraits because it's the face.
Yeah.
In pen and ink that look amazing. So she just did Crowley. She's done Sam. She's done Dean. And she's taking votes on her page of who to do next quite often. I think she's going to circle back to doing another one of either Sam or Dean. I think the first two she did were sort of in profile, so she might do like a more front facing one. But she is really talented. So definitely check her out. And if you are a supernatural fan and you've made art about it, don't be shy. Go ahead and submit it into our email because we love to see stuff like this. And it'd be really nice to be able to shout out, especially some smaller accounts.
Yeah.
And just give people like a helping hand in the community. And I really feel like that's what SPN family is all about.
I really like pen and ink drawings.
Me too.
Fun fact, when I was at uni, I got told off by my tutor because I used to do all these designs in like biro and like cross hatching and stuff.
Yeah.
And she used to tell me off for doing it and made me draw in pencil. And I'm like, but I want to do this. Like, why does it matter to you? I remember having a big argument with her about it.
Yeah, that seems like a random thing for her to double down on.
Yeah. I'm like, why can't you just let me do my own thing? It's art.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm tangenting.
Well, that's a valid rant, you know?
Yeah.
We
I
love
still
a good
think
rant
about
on
it
here.
now. It still annoys me.
Get it off your chest, Laura. Therapy. So the next thing that I have for my preamble is I got sent more fan fiction. And you know me, I love a good supernatural fan fiction. Okay. I like the ones that immerse me in the world of supernatural. It feels like I'm in another episode because obviously the show is over, even though it's never really over. We just go back to the pilot. And so for me, the biggest gift of all is when you find a really talented writer and it just feels like here's an episode that I've never seen before. That is the best feeling in the whole world.
Yeah.
So this one comes from J2SPN fan. And I've included the link both to her Instagram and also to her stories. Sorry, to her archive of her own page where it's this one that I'm going to read you some excerpts from. She's really, really talented, but this one is just really exceptionally well written. Like this one blew me away. I was like 6 to 10 more of these, please, immediately. She just kind of laughed. So shout out to her. I'm going to go ahead and read you these excerpts that I have. And then I'll go on to the next bit because I have like a really fun preamble today. I've got like so many things. It's a good time. Okay, so the first is the road to Black Ridge wound through the mountains like a vein of shadow cut deep into the earth. Pine trees leaned towards each other across the asphalt, their limbs tangled as if whispering secrets too old to speak aloud. The Impala's bright headlights carved narrow slices of light through the darkness, revealing the occasional glint of frost on the roadside, or the jagged curve of rock that had survived time unbroken. Dean drove with one hand on the wheel, the other resting lightly on the door, the engine's growl resonating like a heartbeat in the quiet of the night. Beside him, Sam hunched over the laptop, a pale screen glow illuminating the tension in his face. The silence between them was thick, not empty, the kind of silence that waited for something to break it with a scream or a roar.
That was good.
So
very
good.
atmospheric at the start as well, like the description of like the setting.
She's always so good with setting the scene.
Yeah.
Um, and also, I appreciate that her writing, when she writes dialogue, it sounds like dialogue that could come from an episode. So it's
Yeah.
just really pulls you in. This one isn't anything that links to any particular episode, so Laura can actually read this one in full as well, which is like an
Ah.
extra bonus.
Yeah, I never get to do that.
I know, right? I was so excited for you because I was reading this and I was like, oh, yes, you can actually read this entire one. So the next excerpt says, Sam awoke around 3 a.m., the motel room thick with the low, gentle hum of the air conditioner. Dean gently snoring, and the glow of his laptop casting pale light across the sheets. He didn't bother turning on a lamp. Instead, he sat hunched forward, scrolling through half buried folklore, fragmented translations, anything that mentioned the fire that didn't behave like fire should, and unexplained disappearances. Accounts repeated themselves in different languages, different cultures, livestock found burned from the inside out, caves blackened but never consumed, something beneath the earth that breathed heat instead of air, and each and every one related to a quarry in the vicinity. Sam slowed, his eyes narrowed as patterns began to align. Not a ghost, not a demon, older, territorial, bound to the land itself.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Really
good.
good.
So good.
I'm gonna
My
read
hat
it.
is off. Yeah, so I can't wait for you guys to read this. It's amazing. Do leave her a kudos or something if you read it. Well, when you read it on archive. I was about to say if you read it on, and then I was like, no, that's the only format. That's the only way you can read it. So when you go there, leave her a kudos, leave her a comment, show her some love. Let her know how much we support her and enjoy her work. I am actually from the mailbag, which we're diving into now. I actually have some other fanfic that I was submitted, sent by another friend of the podcast. And currently I'm getting it in weekly installments, which is really fun because basically she said to me that it's huge and sending the entire file would be ridiculous, basically, because it's been an ongoing project between her and one of her friends who watches Supernatural.
Nice.
So I've had to slow down a bit, and I've only read the first little bit of it. So I'm going to wait to talk about it properly until I've had a chance to like really sink my teeth into it and give it like a good kind of review, I guess. But I'm loving it. So if you guys have fanfic that you want me to read, or if you want my opinion as somebody with an English degree, go ahead and send that into the email as well.
Yeah.
If you want Laura to read it, if you know that there's no spoilers and you're happy for Laura to read it, write attention, Laura and Joy. If there are Supernatural related spoilers past season 5, please just write attention, Joy at the top. And then that way, that's how we keep Laura safe. Keep it secret, keep it safe.
Or you can just title it Laura Proof.
Laura Proof. Amazing. So the other mailbag that I did was I was talking to Beck, who's at bushel.and.a.beck on Instagram. And we had this back and forth, and we were talking about characters and story arcs and just different things on Supernatural where it feels like it's really, really important. And Laura and I have had this conversation on the podcast, and then they suddenly disappear. So an example that Laura and I brought up, that Beck also brought up with me,
the little demon kid guy.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Jesse is from the episode The Children Are Our Future, who was literally the Antichrist, and he just fucks off to Australia and we never hear from him again. And Beck was like, why? Why? And then Beck was also like, why isn't he a possibility to be Lucifer's vessel? Why is there Nick and Sam? It makes no sense.
That is a good question.
Right? So
they were setting him up to be Damien-esque.
They really, he was the Damien of the show. So it made absolutely no sense that we never see him again. And I was like, this is a great point. So I put it up there. I was like, can you think of more characters / weapons / plots that Supernatural just went, well, never mind to? And I got some really great answers. So this time I was smart and I filtered out the ones that are spoilers. So I'm only reading the ones that don't have spoilers. So fantasy_nerd 2048 wrote, didn't disappear, but changed. The devil's trap became extremely simplified. And I was like, oh, that's a really good point. Because in the first episode, they're using something from the actual from Solomon's actual text, like his grimoire.
Yeah.
And it's
Seal of
that
Solomon.
huge seal of Solomon, and it's really complicated. It has a scorpion
Yeah.
in the middle. I've actually used that in the graphics of the podcast for one of our previous seasons. But yeah, I guess like you can't have Sam and Dean taking like 3 hours to draw out this meticulous piece of witchcraft. So they changed it to like a really simple pentagram with some sigils around it that I don't think are actually words. Like I've tried visually searching it, and I've tried searching it like um describing it and asking Google to tell me like if it's actually a language or anything else, and nothing ever comes up. So I think it's just nonsense that's made to look like actual sigils.
Yeah.
Whereas the first one was actual witchcraft. Like that one is real. The simpler one I don't think is anything. I think it's just like pure supernatural folklore
Yeah,
stuff.
they've just made it into a show thing now.
But yeah, it like it makes sense because like when we see them frantically doing it at Crowley's house,
Yeah.
we never would have believed that you could trap a demon like the way that Dean likes to do slyly under the carpet. Like it's unbelievable. So I see why they changed to the simplified version, but I kind of like how metal and cool and actually like real
Yeah.
the first
Yeah,
one is.
same.
I sort of miss that.
I love anything that's kind of based on real folklore. Like we discuss every episode when you do your lore.
Yeah, me too. So the next one is SP and Swifty, my bestie. Okay. One of my favorite people wrote in and said, the surviving 7 deadly sins are still running amok topside somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I looked this up. And I was like, yeah, it's true. I can't remember. There's like 3 of them that are still around. And all of the rest of them got killed. But Bobby exorcised 3 of them.
Yeah.
And like there's no reason for us to believe that they can't have ever escaped hell because like Ruby escaped hell. So many other demons come back. Meg came back. Like so many other demons just pop in and out of hell. They get exorcised. They get sent to hell. And then some of them return. And you would think that the 7 deadly sins being like some of the most powerful of all time would be able to just get themselves out of there.
Or at least he would have brought them up because if they're powerful, he'd want them to help.
Yeah. Exactly. But we never get or Lucifer sacrificed them to make himself stronger or something. Like it we never get any follow-up on that whatsoever.
He's focusing on the 4 horsemen instead.
Yeah.
Of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah. I thought that was a really, really good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, for sure. So Kimberly Marie, but Marie is spelled with 3 E's _ cosplays, wrote, Cassie. I loved her and Dean.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? Actually, yeah, because Cassie doesn't get killed off. She doesn't get run off. Like by the end of the episode, she knows everything. And there's no reason why we couldn't have ever had her as a recurring character.
Yeah. Could have had her
and she was amazing.
Yeah.
And I've never met ever, even as much as there's so much virulent hatred at all the girls that Dean ever hooks up with, I've never seen anybody say that they hate Cassie. Like, I've never heard a negative word about her. So, like, I don't understand why we couldn't have had any recurring guest spots from that actress because she was phenomenal. They had great chemistry.
Yeah. If they like go back through that town, I can't remember where it was set, but yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know why we don't get any more Cassie. So yeah, those are all the non-spoilery ones that I can share.
Cool.
And I thought that they were excellent points.
Yeah, they are.
And then my last preamble thing is just my own personal ramble rant, which is me saying this whole episode is Dean mourning for Joe. Fight me. Another way that it's not sister vibes.
Yeah, it's definitely not sister vibes.
Yeah. Because his soul is crushed. Like,
he's dead inside.
A horseman of the apocalypse is like, yeah, you're dead inside now. And I know he's been through a lot, but the most recent thing that he's been through, you know what that was? Joe died.
Yeah, exactly.
And he loved her. So now he's dead inside.
Do you think, are they trying to make us think that Dean has been dead inside since he came back from hell? Or just recently?
I feel like
he lost his soul and went to hell.
Here's my thought. Okay. We see him super struggle when he first gets resurrected. like he's not okay. And we've also seen Sam be not okay.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
I mean, it sounds not okay in this episode either.
But thank you. Dracula Sam is so hot, can I just say. Freaking Dracula Sam in this episode is the hottest morally gray character I have ever seen in my life. That
Yeah,
I forgot how good this episode was. Honestly, like that ending sequence is one of the sickest scenes on TV.
I wrote in my notes towards the end that he is hot, but he would be hot if he didn't have blood all over his face.
Still hot to me.
It's like a goatee. It just looks stupid.
Blood goatee.
It ruins it for me a little bit.
So in other episodes, I thought that it looked like really stupid. This episode, it didn't look stupid to me. It kind of sold to me as like the monster thing.
Even if he'd like smudged it, if he'd like wiped his mouth a bit so it was sort of smudged, it would have been better.
Yeah. I don't know. Stop ruining my Dracula speech.
I'm not ruining it.
It's always got to be goatees or constipation, Laura, I swear.
Hey, I didn't bring up constipation this time.
This time?
That was all you.
What even is this podcast? Blood goatees and constipation. Anyway, so what I think that we're supposed to think that everything that's happened to Dean has led to this, but I personally do read it like Joe was the straw that broke the camel's back, because before this he was eating, he was drinking, he was sleeping around. He stopped sleeping around when he sees Joe, and after Joe dies, he doesn't pick up again, which he could do. And you would think, because he's so like clearly he's so sad, he's so heartbroken, that he would want to be giving into those vices. But I actually think that he's reached this point of brokenness at this point where he just doesn't care at all. And death is not death, sorry,
Famine.
Famine is like, you're dead inside, and that's why you can resist. You're just so broken. You're just dead inside. And I was like, oh God. And it's really, really well done. It's dark, it's spooky. It's heartbreaking. And I don't know why, but to me it just makes Dean more heroic. I guess it's because it's like they even put that in the preamble, the whole thing with Dr. Xena, where she's like, God, how do you get up in the morning with the weight of the whole world on your shoulders? And he's like, it's a good question. Basically, he doesn't even have an answer. He's like, I don't know. I just do. I think that there's something to be said for appreciating how Dean can fool us all into thinking that he's coping and he's doing okay, when he's so devastated that even the power of a horseman can't stand up against what he's feeling inside. And I also think that's such a powerful metaphor in a way for the battles that people face on an emotional level, and that is also heroic.
Yeah. I have definitely got a high scare rating for this episode because of all
Me
of this.
Me too.
Yeah, so the horror level's high on this one.
Yeah, I was honestly like terrified, disgusted, not okay. But I also loved it and admired it, because like as a horror fan, it did what horror is supposed to do and made me really uncomfortable, and like I was not live, laugh, loving.
That was a good episode. I liked it.
It's a great episode. My horror rating is very high as well. It's probably higher than yours.
I can't remember what mine is. We'll see at the end.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Shall I do the synopsis?
Yes, please.
So this is season 5, episode 14, My Bloody Valentine. The original air date for this episode was February 11th, 2010. Cass helps Sam and Dean hunt down Cupid when a couple devour each other, literally eating each other to death. When they find Cupid, though, he is just as shocked as them, and when other strange deaths start occurring, they realise it's something bigger. When Sam follows a demon out of the hospital where the bodies are being kept and steals a briefcase from him containing a human soul, Cass works out it is Famine, one of the four horsemen. However, Cass and Sam start to be affected by Famine's influence, leading Sam to drinking demon blood again. This, as it turns out, was Famine's plan, but Sam uses his powers to defeat Famine in the end.
Boy, does he. That whole thing was such a thirst trap. I'm so excited to get to that scene, honestly.
That was really scary. All the demon dust, that was scary.
No, I fucking loved it. It was amazing. I thought,
Yeah, it was scary.
like, it's the most badass thing that I've ever seen in my entire life, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah. I wasn't saying it wasn't. I was just saying it was scary.
It is. Well, I didn't find that part scary, but like the part before that is scary, definitely.
My first note is just awkward first date alert.
My first note is this whole opening scene screams Stars Hollow to me, with the twinkle lights and the knitted hat girl and all the whole like back and forth.
It kind of felt like, Christmassy.
Yeah, it just immediately made me think of Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
I looked at my notes and it made me laugh. It's like my next one after that is good gore.
Well, yeah.
And my next note is, I swear this is only happening so they could get in the line. How could two people eat each other to death?
I wrote at the end of this scene, what in the vampire or cannibalism is this? That was my first.
The vampire cannibalism.
That was my first note.
So they go back to Alice's apartment, and the thing about this is like Alice's whole vibe is very church girl-esque at first, and she's acting like she's not that kind of girl, whatever that means. And then they go back to her place and they start making out, but then the making out turns a little brutal, like
biting.
They start biting each other, and instead of having a normal reaction, because at first you think, okay, this is kind of kinky, but all right. Then it goes from possibly this is kinky to this is absolute horror as we watch them devour each other, literally devour each other. And it is so uncomfortable to watch and so creepy and disgusting that it's like some of the best horror I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was rank.
Yeah, it was horrific. So it's almost like saying it puts the horror in horror, but it's fine. So then a little later on, after these two have eaten each other.
Yeah.
The thing is, I can't get over the double entendre, which is clearly on purpose, and I keep laughing at it. So Sam is there, and he's interviewing a roommate and asking if she's the one who found the bodies. And Alice's roommate says there is blood everywhere and other stuff. Other stuff. What? I think Alice was already dead. And Sam says, but Russell wasn't. And Alice's roommate says, I think he was mostly, except he was still sort of chewing a little. And Sam's like, oh, ugh. And she says, how do two people even do that? Eat each other to death? At which point I died laughing because I'm very immature. And the writers and I are on the same page. And Sam's like, that's a really good question. Now, the last few days, did you notice her acting erratically? And she's like, how do you mean? And he says, I mean, did she seem unusually hostile, aggressive? And Alice's roommate is like, no, Alice never drank, never even swore. She was a nice girl. And I'm talking like nice girl. Like she still had her promise ring, if you know what I mean. And Sam's like, she was a virgin. In my head, I can just hear Dean be like, nobody's a virgin.
Well, why people killing virgins? He'd be outraged.
Yeah. Alice's roommate says no premarital. I used to wonder how she did it. I mean, didn't do it. It was her first date in months. She was so excited. And Sam says apparently they were both pretty excited.
Oh, yeah. I would like to point out that Alice's roommate never gets an actual name. So just spitting that out there.
Naughty. Yeah. My screenwriting professor at uni told us to try to always give bit characters names, because he was like, imagine if you were an extra and this was your first part ever, and it's just like man by bin or something. He was like, do better,
Yeah.
give them names. So we
Yeah.
always gave all of our, even if they're a side character, we always gave them all names. And I think he has a point. Like,
Yeah. Especially if they have a lot of lines. Like she had a whole
yeah.
scene, and it just I don't know. It bothers me more as well when it's like women. It's like, oh, she doesn't need a name. She's just a
Yeah,
roommate.
no. It's a whole thing. You are very right. And everyone can do better.
So then we see Dean in a motel room reading a file, and Sam comes back with a bag of fast food, and he says there was no EMF or sulfur, so ghosts and demons are probably ruled out. So he's been to the because he was at the flat. Dean, who's been to the coroner's to see the body, describes what he saw, and I just wrote, "Ew."
Yeah. Dean's saying, you didn't see these bodies. I mean, these two started eating and they just kept going. I mean, their stomachs were full, like Thanksgiving dinner full. Talk about codependent. And this is around when I wrote that the whole episode is a horror based on like toxic relationships, like different kinds of toxic relationships. That was my theory
Yeah.
at this time. And then
Yeah.
as we go through the episode, I was like, oh no, I think I'm right. Like, I feel like this holds water.
Yeah. My notes here just say that about the motel, because I'm trying to remember to write things about the motel because I never do. And I wrote green and red leaves and red arches. And it was quite nice. It was all right. I liked the
I knew
colours.
you were going to say that because I hated it.
I thought it was fine. It's but the red like swooshes, if you like.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like foreshadowing for all the blood later.
I
Sam.
just like, I always appreciate the way that they decorate the sets. They put
Yeah,
so much into it. This one, I didn't get the theme. Like,
blood. Sam being
yeah, that's the
vampire.
only thing that, yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense. Because I was like, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel very famine related. And maybe it alludes to slasheriness, but it doesn't do it in. I kind of feel like sometimes the themes are kind of obvious. You know what I mean? Like the yellow lanterns for the yellow-eyed demon. That was great.
Hmm.
This one felt very not obvious in a way that I didn't care for.
You usually get the not obvious ones there. You'll be like, oh, I thought it meant this and it was this symbolism. And I was like, I did not catch that at all.
This is true. Maybe which is why I hated this one, because I was like, no, what is even happening? What's going on here?
Well, what
Why?
I've learned from this is you usually know them, and then when you don't, I apparently notice things.
That works out well then.
Between us, we've got it. We've got it.
Teamwork.
My next note says Sam then sits down and tells Dean to go and unleash the Kraken, and I wrote, is that a nickname for his drug? Because he's basically telling Dean to go
Clearly.
out and get laid. Yeah.
Yeah. He says, Sam's like, go ahead, unleash the Kraken. See you tomorrow morning. And Dean's like, where am I going? And Sam says, Dean, it's Valentine's Day, your favorite holiday. Remember? I mean, what do you always call it? Unattached drifter Christmas. And that's a whole thing in the fandom as well. Like the whole unattached drifter Christmas thing. And I'd forgotten about it. So next Valentine's Day, when I do all my supernatural Valentine's cards, I need to do one that specifically says unattached drifter Christmas. And Dean's like, oh yeah, well, be that as it may, I don't know. I guess I'm just not feeling it this year. And Sam's like, so you're not into bars full of lonely women? And Dean's like, nah, I guess not. And he takes a sip of his beer and he's like, oh, what? And Sam says, it's when a dog doesn't eat. That's when you know something's really wrong. He says it like that.
We've pointed this out before, but it was with actual
so funny.
food.
Yeah, we have.
With actual eating.
Yeah. And Dean says, remarkably patronizing concern, duly noted. Nothing's wrong. We're going to work or what? And
Yeah.
Sam honestly just looks so worried, which is fair. Because again, we all know, Sam, me, Laura, we know that if Dean is not imbibing whatever it is, there's something very wrong. If he's not eating, so to speak, something very wrong. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the next scene, I've got, we see two men in an office. One of them is on his phone, and one is a misogynist. right.
What
He
was
does the
that
whole.
laugh? She sounds like a guinea pig on helium.
It's my Motley laugh. Oh.
It's not even. It's so high pitched though. That is the best thing to ever happen to me.
I can't help it. I don't like it. But he does. Yeah, he does the whole "you're whipped" thing, which I hate, because as if a man can't possibly ever do something that a woman wants or be into her.
Yeah. I'd written, okay, well, we all want to shoot those bastards who act like treating a girl with basic decency means you are no longer a man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a misogynist.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's basically, one guy is really into this girl he's been seeing, and the other one's like being horrible to him about it. And then the woman in question appears, and you can tell something's up with these two, like the last couple straight away. Everything is so intense. So the girl's called Janice, and she tells Jim, who's the guy, that he can't choose work over her. And then the other guy makes the whip noise again, and Janice shoots him out of nowhere.
And I was like, yes!
I wrote, "Whoa there, Janice."
you were like, whoa, and I was like, yes, shoot him
But it
more.
was funny because he falls back in his chair and it was almost slow motion, and that was kind of funny.
It was just so satisfying. It was clearly supposed to be cathartic, and I found it very cathartic. And I would like to say thank you, Supernatural writers. That was great.
Jim then says that he has an idea for how they can stay together forever, and it's a suicide pact. That's the idea. We don't see it happen, but we hear gunshots as they shoot themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Sam and Dean go to the coroner's office again. And as they enter, there's a suspicious-looking guy in a suit holding a briefcase, who's exiting the hospital. Sam has a strange reaction walking past him, like his heartbeat is beating really loud, and he stares at the man as they pass him. Dean asks if he's okay, and Sam says he's fine, but he doesn't look fine. He also kind of sniffs the guy when he passes him, which was weird.
It's pure Dracula energy from the get-go, because it's not Sam's heart beating faster. He's hearing the demon's heartbeat, right? And he's like, smells like demon blood. My notes say X-Files corridor scene. Sam seems fucked up while looking at a strange-looking dude. Is he a demon? Is Sam about to be a blood junkie randomly now? Also, this is a little like the movie. I don't even know what I meant about this is a little
what
like
movie?
the movie. I don't know.
X-Files movie?
I don't remember. What was I thinking of? There's literally like the way that they play that scene out did really remind me of a film, and I had it in my head, but sadly I did not write down what the actual film was called. If anyone knows what I meant, please tell me in the comments.
Which film was Troy thinking of? So, as they go into the morgue, the coroner calls Dean Agent Marley and says he just can't stay away. And then he totally just leaves them there and tells them to lock up when they leave, because he gives no shits. He's like, yeah, do what you want. Here's the key. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah. And obviously Dean is Marley, like Bob Marley, and Sam is named after Jimmy Cliff.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Oh, and the coroner. Sorry. The coroner was also in a previous episode. He was in Providence. He was the librarian.
I have no memory of him, but thank you for
Wasn't
that.
there like I think he dies.
Everybody dies. It's supernatural. Even the main characters die, Laura.
Yeah. But yeah, he was
yeah. This is Navia, if you're listening, this is another one for the spreadsheet, because I was talking to Navia about this before, and I was like, you need to do a spreadsheet of these side characters, and she said she was going to. So recurring guest characters, side characters. There we go.
Add it to the list.
Fun fact.
This is going to be the new put it on the road trip.
Add it to the road trip. Yeah. Add it to the list.
So they're going through all the organs, and they're looking at the hearts of all the victims, and they find Enochian symbols on them, like Sam and Dean have on their ribs. And Dean calls Cass. Oh, this bit was hilarious. He calls him to tell them where they are so he can find them, and Cass is there before Dean even finishes saying where they are.
You left out "Be My Valentine." How could you? Oh. How could you leave out "Be My Valentine"? I'm pulling this podcast over, Laura. So Dr. Corman lets them have full access to all of these organs, like we said before the fun fact, where he just wanders off. He just wanders off and leaves them alone with the evidence. He says their good and plenties are already Tupperwared. And Sam says, super. And he tells him where to leave the keys and ask them to please refrigerate after opening. That was pretty funny. Um, and then so they're going through the organs and we see a lot of hearts. And Dean starts noticing there's a lot of hearts and he picks one up and gives it to Sam and says, "Hey, be my Valentine." It's so funny. And then Sam, who is a genius, notices the Enochian symbols because, again, he's Stanford Sam. He's really smart. He was like, "Whoa,
Sometimes.
what is that?" Sometimes. She's still mad about last time he didn't realize that they were going after John and Mary. Like Anna was going after John and Mary to make sure that he wouldn't be born. And Laura's like, "What the fuck? I thought you were highly educated."
I feel like he understands like really difficult things, but then the really simple, obvious things he doesn't get.
That's so real though. I
Yeah.
know so many super smart people who are actually just that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they figure out that it's Enochian. Or they're pretty sure that it is. Dean calls Cass and says, "Cass, it's Dean. Yeah, room 31C, basement level, St. James's Medical Center." And Cass just fucking appears in front of
Yeah.
him, like an inch from his face.
Before he's even finished telling him where to
Yeah.
go.
They're both still on the phone. And Cass's first words out of his mouth are, "I'm there now." And Dean's like, "Yeah, I get that." And Cass says, "I'm going to hang up now." And Dean
And
says,
they're like,
"Right."
nose to nose.
Yeah.
But he dropped everything for Dean.
Yeah, he did. Immediately.
Yeah.
It's so cute. So Cass says that Sam's right and they are angelic marks. And that they're probably going to find the same markings on the other couple's hearts. Wow, couple's hearts is really hard for me to say. On the other couple's hearts. You try saying that 3 times fast, everybody who's listening. It's not easy.
Couples hearts.
I hate you, Laura. Get out. So Sam asks what they mean. And Cass says that it's a mark of union, that man and woman were intended to, quote unquote, mate. And Dean says, "Okay, but who put them there?" And Cass says, "Well, your people will call them Cupid." And Sam's like, "What?" And Cass says, "What human myth has mistaken for Cupid is actually a lower order of angel. Technically, it's a cherub, 3rd class." And Dean's like, "Cherub?" And Cass is like, "Yeah, they're all over the world. There are dozens of them." And Dean says, "You mean the little flying fat kid in diapers?" And Cass looks at him deadpan and says, "They're not incontinent." I laughed so hard. That line's so funny. And Sam's like, "Okay, anyway, so what you're saying." And Cass is like, "What I'm saying is a Cupid has gone rogue and we have to stop him before he kills again." Da, da, da. And then Sam is like, "Naturally." And Dean goes, "Of course." They're just like, "What are our lives?"
Of course it's a Cupid. Of course we've got to stop him.
Yeah. So I have lore. Because the lore is the Cupid. Cherubs. And yeah. So cherub lore. So they are biblical, but they often get confused with something called putty, which is actually a Roman thing, right? Which is a different thing. So I'm just going to kind of clarify for us what the lore actually is. So in the book of Ezekiel, chapters 1 and 10, it talks about Ezekiel seeking 4 living creatures, or chayat in Hebrew. And in chapter 10, he uses the word cherub as its plural, although it is not clear what the relationship is between these things. Based on Ezekiel's description, the idea arose as shown in at least some Christian iconography that a cherub has 2 pairs of, because I want to tell you guys what it's supposed to really look like, because this is so funny in comparison to what we think and what we see in the show. A cherub has 2 pairs of wings and 4 faces, that of a lion, representative of all wild animals, an ox, representing domestic animals, and a human, representing humanity, and an eagle, representing birds, because for some reason birds are a separate thing.
Wait, that's like the world card on tarot.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So in chapter 10, the face of the ox is replaced by the face of a cherub, or like an angelic looking child.
Yeah.
As described by Ezekiel, Their legs were straight, the soles of their feet like the hooves of a bull, gleaming like polished brass. In Islam, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, I'm sorry in advance, al-Kerubium, or cherubim, or al-Mukarrabin, I'm so sorry. The close refers to the highest angels near God. In contrast to the messenger angels, they include the bearers of the throne, the angels around the throne, the archangels. The angels of mercy, subordinate to Michael, are also identified as cherubim, which is interesting, right? Because Michael is such an important character at this point in the story. So, there are 7 archangels referred to as cherubim in certain branches of this belief system, and later tradition ascribes them to a variety of physical appearances. Some early Midrash literature conceives of them as non corporeal, but in Western Christian tradition, the cherubim have become, or cherubim, have become associated with the putto derived from Cupid in classical antiquity, resulting in depictions of cherubim as small, plumped winged boys. Or as Steen would say, fat kids in diapers with wings. I'm trying to think if I misspoke, if it's like the face of a man in the first art piece. I think it's the face of a man. And then I think later they become associated with the closeness to God, and the idea of purity means that some artisans start portraying them with childlike features, but angelic. And this is where we get the confusion with the putto. So putty in the ancient classical world of art were winged infants that were believed to influence human lives. In Renaissance art, the form of the putto was derived in various ways, including Greek Eros or Roman Cupid, also called Amor, the god of love and companion of Aphrodite or Venus, respectively. The Roman genus, a type of guardian spirit, or sometimes the Greek daemon, a type of messenger spirit, being halfway between the realms of the human and the divine. Key links between Putty and Cupid include the Amorini or Amoretti, when, not Amoretto, Amoretti. When Putty are depicted specifically in the company of Venus or as followers of Cupid, they are often called Amorini or Amoretti, the little loves. Their role in art, Putty often engaged in Cupid-like behavior, such as playing with arrows, wearing masks, or assisting in romantic or mythological scenes, signifying desire and love. In terms of origin, both figures derived from classical antiquity, where they represented winged spirits or genii. During the Renaissance, Putty were revived to embody the playful, mischievous spirit of Cupid/Eros. Interchangeable imagery in terms of like Baroque art and later art, the lines between Cupid, Putto, and cherub became so blurred that many of them are just act as symbols of love or luxury.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's the
So
lore.
it's like a game of telephone, but with pictures. It just changed.
Yeah, basically. As time went on, these things just kind of merged into one thing. So you have this idea of an angel that is very close to God. And I think when I was reading up on it, there were descriptions of cherubs being placed on the Ark of the Covenant as like representing its importance. And then also with Moses in the Ark, I think there's a conversation about Moses carving cherubs' faces or cherubs' likenesses into parts of the Ark. So it seemed like to sanctify, or like it was like a seal of God in some way, shape, or form. And then it becomes kind of a metaphor for God's ruling over all of these different forces and beings. And then I think as paganism and Christianity blend together, I think some interpretations of cherubs are associated with divinity and somehow take on that kind of like childlike sweetness or innocence. I know there are a couple of passages in the Bible that state that children are close to God, or that children have a certain kind of wisdom. So I assume that at some point, and again, this is just my own assumption, I assume that at some point that metaphor became important. And that's where things got linked, because the putty would look exactly like that. Like it would be the same thing. If you started drawing cherubs as kids.
Yeah.
There you go. And then they blend together. And there you have it.
I like how, like, the official description of the four faces, has that got anything to do with because I thought of the tarot card straight away, the world. That has the
Well,
four faces in the corners. And it was
from
the same things that you
memory,
said.
they were part of the Golden Dawn movement, like the people who made the tarot. And
Yeah.
that is an esoteric movement which is founded or originated from Jewish belief systems.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that I would identify as maybe Jewish magic or things that are sacred to Jewish practices that you find in the tarot because of that. Um, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if that is why it looks similar to the description.
I've got a book here that's it has all the symbolism in it. Let me just have a look.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, according to this, it's supposed to be the four elements.
But it's the exact ones that are used in the
Yeah, because it's a human,
yeah.
an eagle, a lion, and like a bull. Is that what you said it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That
that's
is
just
funny.
a simplified version of a more complicated idea.
Well, interesting.
Yeah.
I just wanted to look it up because that was instantly what I thought of.
Yeah, no, it is interesting.
So we then cut to a restaurant, and Dean is being brought a burger, and Sam is brought a salad. And Dean doesn't want to eat his burger though, and Sam points out what we've been saying since the start of this podcast, that we know there's something wrong with
Yeah.
Dean if he doesn't want to eat anything,
Yeah.
which we talked about earlier. But Cass apparently is hungry, however, and takes the burger.
Yeah. And in the transcript, it actually says that there's a scene. I care. Actually, was this trivia? It's either Supernatural Wiki trivia or it's in the transcript. It might be a little bit of both. There's a part where Cass is eating the burger, and apparently, he eats part of a wrapper. He's like so into the burger that he like downs part of a wrapper. And the thing is, I feel really bad for Misha because when you're filming with food, usually they end up either eating loads of food and it's really unpleasant and the food doesn't stay
Yeah.
fresh while you're filming for hours under lights, or you have like a spit bucket situation where you take the bite and things like that. But if it's in the script that you swallow during the scene, you could try to fake it, but I don't know. I don't know. If I was at a convention and Misha was there, I would definitely ask him a question about like what was it like to film this episode? Was it hell? Was it fun? I feel concerned.
I have a fun fact later when he eats something else. Yeah,
That's exciting.
but not for this bit.
We'll
I didn't
look
even
to that.
notice the burger.
Yeah.
Eating the wrapper. That's funny.
Yeah. So, Dean asks him how he knows that Cupid's going to be at this particular restaurant, and Cass says that it's a nexus of human reproduction. And so he watches Dean put ketchup on his cheeseburger, and then he puts the cheeseburger back down, and Sam's like, wait a minute, you're not hungry? I'm just realizing this is why I wanted cheeseburgers tonight. I had cheeseburgers for dinner, and I'm realizing this is why. Sam's kind of low-key horrified when he says it, though. He's like, wait a minute, you're not hungry? But like we can see Sam is like very suspicious. And Dean's like, no, what? I'm not hungry. And Cass is like, then you're not going to finish that? And then he steals the burger basically out of his hand and then says, he's here. And Sam's like, where? I don't see anything. And Cass says, there. And
yeah, there's like a breeze going through the restaurant.
Yeah. And Dean's like, you mean the same side of the booth couple over there? And Cass says, meet me out back. And so we see the back room and Sam's like, Cass, where is he? And Cass is all dramatic. I have him tethered. Zoda, Marhana, manifest yourself. And he's like, so where is he? Like, what? And then this huge naked man appears before him and grabs him in a hug. And Cupid's like, here I am.
He's like lifting him up and shaking him.
Yeah. Like a bear.
And Dean looks very confused and worried and shouts for the others to help him.
Yeah.
And then Cupid notices Cass and goes to him saying, hello, you, and hugs him. And Dean realizes Cupid was naked this whole time and is disgusted. And he then turns to Sam and says, and look at you, her, and walks towards him and sounds like, no, no. And Cupid is saying
just goes,
yes,
yes.
Yeah. And Dean, looking very concerned, is like, is this a fight? Are we in a fight? That was so funny.
And Cass says, this is their handshake. And he says, I don't like it. And Cass says, no one likes it.
It's how he's like, are we in a fight?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
There's just a large man picking everyone up and shaking them.
So after all the hugging, Cupid asks what he could do for them, and Cass says, why are you doing this? And Cupid's like, doing what? And Cass tells Cupid that the people he marked are slaughtering each other. Cupid then looks confused and sad. And Dean says that they know he's been, quote, popping people with your poison arrow, making them murder each other. And Cass adds that what they don't know is why. And Cupid then starts crying.
My notes say it goes from Dean is off his food to Dean is straight staring at this man's junk.
Yeah.
Because there's this scene where he just like transfixed, just looking down, and I was like, "Oh my god, you're what?" Which later you realize is like he's wearing or is he's just naked? I can't remember if he's wearing the thing or if he's just naked. But either way,
he's just naked
and funny.
Yeah. So yeah, he's crying, and the other three don't really know what to do. So Sam asks if someone should go and talk to him, and Dean's like, "Yeah, give them hell, Cass," and slaps him on the shoulder. And Sam's nodding, like, "Yeah, you deal with it, Cass."
Yeah.
Cass tries to talk to Cupid, saying they didn't mean to hurt his feelings, and Cupid hugs him, saying, "Love is more than a word to me. You know, I love love. I love it, and if that's wrong, I don't want to be right." And Cass is like, "Yeah, I don't know what you're saying. I do not understand what you were saying." Cupid says that he was just on his appointed rounds. He says, "Whatever my targets do after that is nothing to do with me. I was following my orders. Please, brother, read my mind. Read my mind and you'll see." And then Cass reads Cupid's mind, and he turns to Sam and Dean and says, "He's telling the truth." And then Cupid's like, "Jiminy Christmas, thank you."
He is basically a Disney character.
I thought, I'll wait for a minute. So Dean asks whose orders he was following. Cupid laughs at him and says, "Heaven, silly." And he says that John and Mary were a really important couple. They had to be put together, so Sam and Dean were born. So he's like, he kind of says that he has certain people that have to go together, like destiny or whatever. And uses John and Mary as an example. And Dean then punches Cupid, which I thought was a bit unnecessary because I understand that they found him annoying, but he didn't deserve to be punched. He was just being happy and singing.
Yeah, it's because Dean thinks that Cupid is to blame for everyone dying. That's why he's so mad about the situation.
He's just following orders.
Takes it out on Cupid.
Yeah. I felt a bit sorry for Cupid, though, I have to say.
Yeah, and then Cupid disappears, and Dean's like, "Where is he? Where'd he go?" And Cass says, "I believe you upset him." And Dean's like, "I upset him?" And Sam's like, "Dean, enough." And Dean's like, "What?" And Sam went, "You just punched a Cupid." And Dean goes, "I punched a dick." And then Sam says, "Are we going to talk about what's been up with you lately or not?" And Dean just goes, "Or not." And I wrote, "Dean, ew, feelings."
Was there, you punched a Cupid, I punched a dick.
Yeah.
Out of context. That is so funny. Oh, my initial notes here were, has Dean caught Sam's anger issues? Also, Cupid has green eyes.
Are you serious right now, Laura?
Also,
look me in the eyes and say that again.
Also, I found another fun fact, which is just before Dean hits him, the Cupid is singing the same song that Alistair was singing as Dean was getting ready to torture him in season 4, episode 16, On the Head of a Pin, which was Cheek to Cheek.
Whoa, that's a deep cut.
Irving Berlin. I haven't actually checked it, but that was on IMDb.
Yeah, he's singing Heaven. I'm in heaven. I don't know if that's what he was singing when he was about to torture Alistair, but that would make sense.
Yeah, I didn't go back and check it. So what do you think about Cupid? I thought he was annoying, but I did feel sorry for him.
I thought he was adorable, and he reminds me of like Sean Austin, kind of the guy who plays
Oh yeah,
Samwise. He has a little
yeah,
bit of Samwise energy to him. Like if Samwise was a giant innocent child and very naive. So
yeah.
I find him really likable. And I understand Dean's motivations and why he did what he did. And I'm not gonna be like, no, Dean. But also, um, I understand poor Cupid. Poor Cupid's like
Yeah,
crying in a corner somewhere invisible, probably like, why does nobody like me? I'm
yeah.
just doing my job.
He's just a lesser angel, a lower angel,
Yeah.
following his orders.
Yeah.
Um, well, I'll tell Dean off because I like Sam did. I'll tell him off.
Hashtag Team Sam. Hashtag Sam would never.
Well, Sam would in this case because he has the anger issues too.
No, but Sam would Dracula. And when he does Dracula, he takes out a horseman. So
Yeah,
honestly,
that
go
is true.
Sam. Yeah.
So then they go back to the medical centre, and Dr. Corman tells Sam that they ask to hear about any other weird deaths, and then he uncovers a body. And he explains the man used to weigh over 400 pounds until he had gastric bypass surgery that made him thinner. He explains, however, last night this man went on a Twinkie binge. Sounds like he died from a Twinkie binge. And the coroner explains that he blew out the band around his stomach, then filled it up until it burst. Ugh. Then, when he could no longer swallow, he started jamming the cakes down his gullet with a toilet brush like he was ramrodding a cannon. Ew. Joy's not okay.
I'm not. This is my version of eyeballs.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was horrible. My notes just say "ew" in all caps for like a page.
I liked the response from the doctor though, because Sam's like, "So what do you make of it?" And the doctor says, "I'd say it was a very peculiar thing to do." I'll say. And then he takes a drink from a hip flask. I
think
like
he's
the
starting
doctor.
to struggle. Yeah, he's great. He's a great character.
It's like when Dean's like, "Oh, I liked him in a minute." So outside on the phone, Sam is telling Dean that the death wasn't caused by Cupid, but it's definitely suspicious. Dean says he's been through the police blotter, and including him, this is 8 suicides since Wednesday and 19 ODs, which is way above average. And then I had to look up police blotters because I thought that they didn't really exist anymore because I was like, they must all be digital now, which, fun fact, they are, but some people still write it down, but it's literally, in case anyone doesn't know, an official daily logbook maintained by law enforcement to record chronological reports of arrests, incidents, and activities within their jurisdiction. So they literally have to list down everything. It's like the desk sergeant does it. All the crimes that happened that day. But yeah, I didn't know if they still did that anymore, but they do.
I always assumed it was the thing that goes over the radio, where they announce the crime on the radio. But no, that's not what it is at all. And now I have learned.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's like a list that they have to write down. But yeah, it is usually digital now. So I think it's then because the police blotter is then sometimes released in the press, I think, isn't it? So people know what's going on.
Yeah.
Sam tells Dean it's obviously bigger than they thought. He then sees the same creepy guy with the briefcase he saw before, and Sam stares at him, looking really angry. And my initial notes were, "What is with Sam's spidey senses?" And I didn't know what was going on at this point. I hadn't realised he was a demon.
I wrote the cat noises, the fog. I cannot, because what you guys need to know is in this scene, he goes down this alleyway and it's like every bad 2000s movie ever. There's like a shit ton of fog in the middle of the day for literally no reason. It's not even coming from anywhere. It's just billowing down. Okay. I think this is a reference to Dracula though. I think this entire sequence is supposed to be like a Dracula thing because there's also a black cat that runs through.
Yeah.
And Sam is all down to like attack and eat this demon, honestly. So
yeah, he like follows him.
he follows him in this really predatory way and he's listening to his heartbeat like a damn vampire. And then he grabs the demon, pins him against a wall, and holds Ruby's knife to its throat and says, "I know what you are, damn it." And then he cuts the demon's cheek and the demon goes, "Ah!" And Sam says, "I could smell you." And
That was the first trap.
yeah. And then the demon and Sam get into a fight, and Sam nicks the demon again in the arm, and the demon screams, drops his briefcase, and runs away. Sam is all disheveled with blood and a knife and cleans off the blood like he's trying really hard to not like consume the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, at this point, I was like, oh no. Because like that was a really interesting scene, but I'm like, oh no, Sam. Sam, what's
Yeah.
happening?
It's like, oh, don't drink it.
Yeah.
And then we come back to the motel.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam's got the briefcase from this guy, and he's put it on a table in the motel, and Sam and Dean are staring at the briefcase. And Dean's like, what's the demon got to do with this anyway? And Sam says he has no idea. Dean asks if Sam's okay, clearly worried about the whole demon blood thing. Then they open the briefcase, and a really bright, blinding light emanates from it. And Dean is like, what the hell was that? Cass says it was a human soul. And so I understood that this was a Pulp Fiction reference, or at least reminded me of that, because I loved Pulp Fiction. I used to watch it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was checking IMDb, I found this. It says, when Sam and Dean open the briefcase, the soul glows. This may be a reference to a similar scene in Pulp Fiction. Most people theorize that the glowing object in that briefcase is Marcellus Wallace's soul. I never knew that's what it was supposed to be.
Whoa.
I have watched Pulp Fiction so many times, and I didn't realize what the light was. So I learned something.
Ooh, cool.
I used to watch that film so much I could quote it at one point, and I didn't realize that.
No, neither did I.
So
Pretty
yeah, so it's cool.
metaphoric, to be fair. It's pretty artsy.
But it makes sense. I obviously
Yeah.
wasn't thinking too deeply about it when I used to watch it when I was a teenager.
Apparently me neither. And I was in film school literally studying it. So
But yeah,
I
so I learned
suck.
something about Pulp Fiction today.
yeah, so did I. Thank
Not about
you.
Supernatural.
Well, we learned that Supernatural referenced Pulp Fiction. Sort
Yes.
of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it must have been a reference because it was really obvious, wasn't it?
Plus, also the demons are walking around in these suits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it
I say they look like Men in Black later. Like they were just Men in Black demons.
yeah.
In fact, that's
it
what
was
I call
also-
them. The rest of my notes.
I can't think of it. It was very X-Files at the time.
Yeah, it is very X-Files.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cass says that it was a human soul and that it's starting to make sense. And he looks crazed as he's eating a burger.
Yeah. He says that his hunger is a clue, actually. And Sam's like, for what? And Dean goes, for what?
Oh yeah, they were in unison. I
Yeah.
had a little heart. We love it when they speak in unison.
We do. So, Cass says this town is not suffering from some love gone wrong effect. It's suffering from hunger, starvation to be exact, specifically famine. And Sam says famine as
no.
in the horseman. And Dean says, great. That's freaking great. And Sam says, I thought famine meant starvation, like as in, food. And Cass says, yes, absolutely, but not just food. I mean, everyone seems to be starving for something: sex, attention, drugs, love. And I was like, oh, supernatural deep cuts. They're coming for our necks right now. And Dean says, well, that explains the puppy lovers that Cupid shot up. And Cass is like, right, the cherub made them crave love, and then famine came and made them rabid for it.
Mm-mm.
Dean says, okay, but what about you? I mean, since when do angels secretly hunger for White Castle? And Castiel says, it's my vessel, Jimmy. His appetite for red meat has been touched by famine's effect. And Dean's like, so famine just rolls into town and everybody goes crazy? And Cass says, and then will come famine riding on a black steed. He will ride into the land of plenty. And then we see the black SUV and guarded by this huge group of demons. And he gets out and he's like an old white man in a wheelchair, and they have to put an oxygen mask on him and everything. And my notes just say, famine being an old billionaire man is chef's kiss. It's just like
He
a
was
wicked,
really
evil
creepy as
old
well.
white man. Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you. So relevant to the times. So then Cass says, and great will be the horseman's hunger, for he is hunger. And then they enter a Biggerson's restaurant. Now remember that fact for later, kids, because that's important. And Cass says, his hunger will seep out and poison the air. And then as we see him walk in, the restaurant patrons and staff are taken over by their hunger, stuffing themselves with food, drink, pills. A waitress takes all the money from the register. Another couple starts making out in the middle of the floor, basically. And Famine just walks in and says, hungry, in a really creepy voice.
Yeah. And there's the guy that like deep fries his hands. That was horrible.
Oh, I was not doing okay. It's not like, honestly, the horror in this episode is so shit hot. It's amazing. Like, as a horror fan, my hat is off, but also I am a little traumatized. It was too accurate.
Yeah.
But like, really, seriously, their special effects department is incredible. There's the stunt work in it is amazing. Like, I'm in awe of everyone who participated in this episode because everything looks so real. All of the effects
Mm.
are so good. It holds up now. Over a decade later, you could watch this episode and be like, "Oh my god, that looks so real," and we'll still be
Yeah.
horrified and disgusted by it now. So, amazing job.
It's almost like what was the episode where the demons made that guy drink like drain cleaner? That
Ugh,
was
that's the
horrible as
Seven
well.
Deadly Sins episode.
Yeah. That was really gruesome and like really realistic as well.
Yeah, similar situation. And the guy eating the raw beef in Metamorphosis.
Hmm. Ooh. Oh yeah.
That's
Didn't like
cast
him.
this whole episode.
Yeah, it's definitely cast later. So Cass says that Lucifer has sent his demons to care for Famine and to feed him, so he's ready. And Sam says, ready for what? And Cass says to march across the land. And then we come back to the restaurant, and everyone is now dead. And there's flies flying around, as flies do. Famine and his bodyguards, who look like Men in Black, by the way, this is where I wrote that, are in the middle of the restaurant. The demon Sam had a fight with turns up holding his arm and tells Famine that Sam Winchester, the vessel, is here. Famine asks where. The demon says at the hospital, but that they fought and he got away. But he pulls out Sam's motel key and says he got it from him and passes it to Famine. Famine asks for the soul he was supposed to get in a really creepy way. He's really creepy.
Yeah, the actors are really good.
Yeah, he's really good. He was in an X-Files episode, by the way.
Oh.
He was in Alone. So he was a victim of a reptilian creature. But he was a wheelchair-bound caretaker. He was killed by the creature's venom, setting off an investigation by Agent Doggett and his new partner, Agent Harrison. And it was in season 8 after, like, when they had the other agents. And it says that I found on IMDb someone saying that his costume in this episode was the same as the X-Files episode that he was in.
Okay. Yeah, references and references. Nice.
Yeah. I need to look back. I need to go and watch that X-Files episode now. So the demon looks shifty and apologizes, saying Sam took the briefcase. And Famine shouts that he's hungry, and the demon tries to leave, saying he'll go get it. But Famine says he's hungry now and stops him and exercises the demon in a way that's not dissimilar to how Sam does it when he has his powers. I wrote this before that happened, so I was foreshadowing. All the lights go out and Famine guides the demon dust to him and swallows it all, and then he says delicious, and it's really creepy and scary.
Yeah, it is terrifying. He's a great actor because he's not really working with a lot of special effects or anything. It's very minimal.
Just the demon dust.
Yeah, and there's obviously makeup on him to make him look spookier, but there's nothing crazy going on. He doesn't have black eyes. Like, he's just a really good actor. So honestly, my hat is off.
Yes.
So we cut to the hotel room, and Sam has the sweats, and he's trying to sort himself out and pull himself together, but you can see that he's struggling. And you can kind of see throughout this scene the moment where he just kind of acknowledges that he's not okay before he goes out to speak to Dean. And it's a little heartbreaking. Jared acts it really well, I thought. So Dean and Cass are talking about Famine, and Cass is still stuffing his face full of cheeseburgers. It's hilarious. Misha is very funny in this episode. Sam asks, so what, this whole town is just going to eat, drink, and screw itself to death? And Cass is like, we should stop it. And Dean's like, yeah, that's a great idea. How? And Cass says, how did you stop the last horseman you met? And Dean says, War got his mojo from the ring. And after we cut it off, he just tucked tail and ran. And then Dean pulls War's ring out of his coat pocket. And I was like, oh, he has the one ring. He has not taken it to Mordor. So Dean asks if Famine has a class ring too. And Cass says, I know he does. And Dean says, okay, well, let's track him down and get shopping. And Cass says, yeah. And then he just looks at this empty paper bag where he now has no food, and he looks very sad. He looks heartbroken. Sam is still not okay. He's still splashing water on himself and stuff. And Dean's saying, what are you, the Hamburglar, to Cass? And Cass is like, I've developed a taste for ground beef. And Dean says, well, have you even tried to stop it? And Cass says, I'm an angel. I can stop anytime I want. And then Dean to Sam says, "Let's roll." And Sam says, "Dean, I can't go." And Dean says, "What do you mean?" And he says, "I think it got to me, Dean. I think I'm hungry for." And Dean says, "Hungry for what?" In this angry, accusing way. And I was like, Dean, just shut the fuck up. Stop being
Yeah,
mean to
Dean.
Sam. Stop it. And Sam says, "You know." And Dean says, "Demon blood." And Sam kind of hangs his head. And Dean says, "You got to be kidding me." And then to Cass, he says, "You got to get him out of here. You've got to beam him to like Montana, anywhere but here." Which, so he's like both mean and kind of nice, but the way he says, "Get him out of here," he's protecting Sam, but it also feels a little dismissive of Sam.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I love Dean, but I kind of wanted to kick him in the shins. So Cass points out that it won't work because he's already infected and the hunger's just going to travel with him. And Dean says, "Well, what do we do?" And Sam says, "You got to cut the bastard's finger off." And Dean says, "You heard him. And it's really badass." And he goes to go storming out. And Sam says, "But Dean, before you go, you better lock me down, but good."
Mm-mm.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Sammy."
Sammy.
So this part I actually really appreciated because Jared is 6'4" and huge and muscular, and obviously Sam Winchester, same, because same guy, and also Sam has powers, right? So they chain him to a pipe and then lock the door and then put this huge armoire.
cabinet
I don't know
over it.
what it like a chest. It's not a chest of drawers. What is it? It's like a
Like a
whole
wardrobe?
closet.
Yeah.
A wardrobe. They push an entire wardrobe in front of it. And I was like, that's realistic trying to lock Sam down. Like, that's actually quite good.
Yeah.
There are layers to it.
Yeah. But we know that the demons have the key for the motel room.
Yep.
Oh, no.
So, Dean asks Marty if Dr. Corman is around. And they're back at St. James Medical Center. And Marty says, "You haven't heard?" And Dean says, "Heard what?" And Marty says, "Guy's been dry for the last 20 years, but this morning he left work, went home, and drank himself to death."
Aww.
Cass says, "It's famine." Just deadpan. And Marty goes, "Pardon?" And Dean's like, "Would you give us a minute, please?"
Yeah, which is code for "please leave before my very little angel friend tells you the truth and makes you think we're crazy."
Yeah. So then Dean's like, "Crap, I really kind of like this guy." And Cass says they haven't harvested the soul yet. So basically, long story short, they decide to wait around and tail the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And during this part in the conversation, Cass says everyone in this town is falling prey to salmon except for Dean. Why is Dean unaffected, basically? And Dean
That's a
says,
good
"Hey,
question.
when I want to, hey, when I want to drink, I drink. When I want sex, I go get it. Same goes for a sandwich or a fight." And Cass says, "So you're saying you're just well adjusted?" And Dean says, "God, no, I'm just well fed."
Well.
And then this is when we see the next demon in the black suit brigade who goes forward with his briefcase to steal the soul.
Yeah.
And Dean and Cass follow him in the Impala.
Mm-hmm. And we see, meanwhile, at the motel, Sam is trying to escape his shackles and hears a noise outside. And he thinks that Dean and Cass have come back, but it's not them. And we hear the dresser being moved from the doorway, and the door opens, and some more men in black demons appear. They untie Sam, but then he attacks them.
Here come the men in black.
Demons in black.
All
They
that you'll remember. Sorry, you go.
They untie Sam, but then he attacks and fights them. He grabs some broken glass and stabs the lady demon in the neck with it and drinks her blood. When the other demon tries to stop him, Sam throws him across the room as he has his powers back now, and he says, "Wait your turn." And I think it was supposed to be a thirst trap, but I don't like him with blood all over his face.
Oh no, it was such a thirst trap. It was amazing. This is where we can tell that I need therapy because like she's like, get him off. And the other guy goes to pull him off, but cannot budge him. And Sam's shirt gets kind of ripped. And then the dude demon grabs this huge piece of wood and attempts to hit Sam with it. I was like, he's trying to stake him because he's a vampire. But Sam turns to face him, raises his hand, and telekinetically flings him against the wall and just goes, "Wait your turn."
Wait your turn. Yeah.
In this really menacing way.
Hot. It was just the blood.
Oh, the whole thing was amazing.
Also, I have a question about the powers. So I don't know if it's a flag or not. So he seems pretty powerful straight away, and last time he had to like gradually build it up. So is it like once he's learnt it, if he detoxes and then has blood again, he's just back to the level of power he had before?
I have
He
two
doesn't need
thoughts
to
about
build it up
this.
again.
Number one, he drinks this woman like a Capri Sun. Number two, Lucifer is risen. So now everything evil has like 10 times more power than it did before.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that he's been there before and understands the powers, the fact that he downs this woman like his favorite flavor, and it looks like he drinks like her entire gallon of blood or whatever in like 30 seconds. I think we're supposed to have it inferred that that's why he can do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I did wonder if it was something like that, but I was like, Also, my initial note said, Sam, the demon vampire, is back. And you know what? I like him with his powers. I like Sam's powers. I don't like that they kind of stopped him from having powers.
Yeah. He is really cool when he has his demon powers.
Yeah. And I totally like, I know that because I think I mentioned this later, but Dean hates him with his powers because it makes him like seem not human or whatever. But his powers are so helpful.
His powers are super helpful. Bobby practices witchcraft all the time.
Yeah. They just
John
like
summoned demons.
Sam could literally stop this whole apocalypse just from having his powers. Just saying.
Yeah.
But he won't let him. So Dean and Cass have followed the demon back to the restaurant where Famine is, and Dean says, "Demons," because he sees them. You want to go over the plan again? And then Cass isn't answering, so he goes, "Hey, Happy Meal." The plan. I love that bit. Hey, Happy Meal. Cass says, "I'll take the knife. I go in. I cut off the ring hand of Famine, and I meet you back here in the parking lot." And then he disappears. And Dean waits for a while and says, "This is taking too long." And I wrote, "It's been 10 seconds, Dean." He's only just gone, and he's like, "This is taking too long."
That's what I wrote down too. I was like, it's been 3 seconds, Dean.
Yeah, it's been too long.
I mean, I can't talk. I have no patience, but
maybe he thought Cass was because he was going to be like angel speed or something. But I was just like, you need to give him more time, Dean. He's eating.
Well, the thing is like, this is another example of Dean's intuition is always right, because he's like, something's wrong. This is taking too long. Even though it's a slightly ridiculously short amount of time. Even with angel speed, I feel like that's a slightly ridiculously short amount of time.
Yeah. I think maybe they should have just said something's wrong and then go in. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we see him walk into the restaurant and Dean's like, Cass? And Cass is on the floor stuffing his face with raw meat. And then 2 demons attack Dean and drag him in front of Famine.
This is where I had my fun fact. So I found this on IMDb. It says, because Misha Collins is vegan, the raw meat that Cass is devouring in the diner with Famine was made specially for him. Instead
of
actual...
a person who eats meat regularly would just eat raw meat for TV. The way that's written is so funny. Like, all fake meat on TV is the same stuff.
Well, yeah, because it's like no one's going to eat real meat. But anyway, it says that it was, instead of actual cooked meat made to look raw, it was what Misha describes as a disgusting concoction of soy, ketchup, and tomato sauce, among other things. Isn't ketchup and tomato sauce the same thing? Anyway, that's what he was eating.
More or less. Oh no, that's different. So there's this woman that I really admire. She's an artist and a chef, and she works on horror sets. And specifically, what she does is horror food. And her version of raw meat that they use on like Hannibal and stuff is the one that I've seen most commonly listed. But I guess maybe she hadn't invented it yet. So I didn't know that they use cooked meat, but then I guess they add food coloring to make it look like it's still raw. I guess that makes sense. I guess that sentence tracks now. But what she uses is food coloring, Rice Krispie treats, the with the marshmallow and everything to make it like super gooey. And so basically you'd just be eating like delicious Rice Krispie treats. But it would look like you were eating raw meat, which is amazing. So I feel really sorry for Misha because that does sound like disgusting.
Yeah. My next note is, these demons are totally Men in Black. Why do they need sunglasses?
All I could think of was the episode of Supernatural where Dean's like, I can't calm down. I'm wearing sunglasses at night. You know who wears sunglasses at night? No talent douchebags.
Yeah, exactly. Why do they need them on? One, it's night, and two, they're demons.
Yeah, I know, right? I thought it was they were thinking that if Famine doesn't see their eyes, he can't consume their souls or something, but I was just trying to make sense of it, so I don't know.
Oh, I suppose they could be wearing sunglasses so people don't see that they've got demon eyes. But then the two demons that have actually interacted with people didn't have sunglasses on.
No.
It's a mystery.
It is a mystery.
What do you think? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Why are the men in black demons? Just why are they?
Why? Why are men? Okay, so Famine says the other Mr. Winchester. And Dean asks what he did to Cass, and Famine says, "You sicked your dog on me. I just threw a mistake."
That's cool.
Like, oh. And Dean says, "So this is your big trick, huh? Making people cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?" And Famine says, "It doesn't take much, hardly a push. Oh, America, all you can eat all the time. Consume, consume. A swarm of locusts and stretch pants. And yet, you're all still starving because hunger doesn't just come from the body, it also comes from the soul." And Dean says, "It's funny, it doesn't seem to be coming from mine." And Famine says, "Yes, I noticed that. Have you ever wondered why that is? How you could even walk in my presence?" And Dean says, "Well, I like to think it's because of my strength of character." And that was a thirst trap for me. And Famine says, "I disagree." And then he walks up to Dean and he like digs his fingers into his chest, and it's really creepy and gross. And he says, "Yes, I see. That's one deep, dark nothing you got down there, Dean. Can't fill it, can you? Not with food or drink, not even with sex." And he says, "Oh, you're full of crap." And Famine says, "Oh, you can smirk and joke and lie to your brother. You can lie to yourself, but not to me. I can see inside you, Dean. I can see how broken you are, how defeated. You can't win. And you know it. But you just keep fighting. Just keep going through the motions. You're not hungry, Dean, because inside, you're already dead." And then Sam comes in from nowhere, thirst trap, and says, "Let him go." And Famine turns to face Sam, and Sam's face is all blooded up. And
goatee.
He says, "Sam." And Dean says, "Sammy, no." And two of the 5 demons guarding Famine move to attack Sam, and Famine says, "Stop. No one lays a finger on this precious, precious boy." And I was like, that's interesting. That's an interesting. I mean, like, we get it because obviously he's Lucifer's vessel. So it would make sense that Famine wants him like that. But
it's weird that he calls him. I thought he said a sweet little boy. That's what I've got written down.
Oh,
but
hang on. Sorry.
He calls him a little boy anyway.
Famine says, "Stop. No one lays a finger on this sweet little boy. Sam, I see you got the snack I sent you." And Sam is like, "You sent." And Famine says, "Don't worry. You're not like everyone else. You'll never die from drinking too much. You're the exception that proves the rule, just the way Satan wanted you to be. So cut their throats. Have at them." And he's talking about his own demons. And the demons in the background are like, what the fuck? What? Betrayal. Yeah. And Dean is like, "Sammy, no." And Famine says, "Please be my guest." And Sam lifts his hands, closes his eyes, and then pulls all 5 demons from their hosts at once. And Dean just watches in like awe and shock. And the demons smoke pools on the floor. He looks hot as fuck. And Sam says, "No." And Famine says, "Well, fine. If you don't want them, then I'll have them." And he does this really creepy, like open mouth demon thing and sucks up all the souls. And then Sam puts his hand out at Famine. And all I could think of was 11 from Stranger Things. And I was like, they got all of 11 moves from Sam. So Famine says, "I'm a horseman, Sam. Your power doesn't work on me." And Sam says, "You're right, but it'll work on them." And then he rips all of the souls out of Famine that Famine consumed. And Famine's just like screaming. And this is when Sam gets the nosebleed. But the demon souls just explode out of Famine. And then he slumps and his eyes are empty. And Dean and Cass both look at Sam like, what the actual fuck?
I feel like Dean was looking at him that suggests he's both scared and disappointed at the same time.
Which is wrong, because we should all just be so impressed. Like, that was like Aragorn storming Helm's Deep. That was awesome and hot.
Yeah, if you didn't have the blood goatee. I wrote in my initial notes, Sam's powers don't work on horsemen, but he found a loophole.
I wrote, "Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary babes, Sam motherfucking Winchester."
But then, so in the next scene, we see Sam is now detoxing again in Bobby's panic room. And Cass is talking to Dean, trying to reassure him that Sam will be okay. But Dean wants to be alone, and he goes outside with a bottle of whiskey and looks like he's going to cry. And he looks to the sky and says, "Please, I need some help, please." And then he is crying. And my initial notes were, "Oh no, Sam has to detox again. I still don't see why Demon Blood Sam is that bad. He can save them all. Dean is sad."
The thing that I get is like it's Jensen's acting in this scene is so amazing. He made me want to cry.
He's so good with the emotions.
He is. It's the way he looks at the alcohol. Like he really wants to drink it, but like he knows it will do absolutely nothing for him, and he's back and forth with it, and then he prays, and then there's just fuck all answer. And you can tell that he feels like the loneliest person in the entire universe at that particular moment in time.
Yeah.
So it's just such a sad scene. And then in my notes I wrote, Dean asks for help, yet the world is ending.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a depressing ending.
It is depressing. I don't know. When I think of this episode on the whole, I just think of the epicness of it all.
Yeah, it's a good episode. I really like the horseman stuff.
The horseman stuff is amazing. It's so scary. It's great. And like they're like the Nazgul of this storyline, which I think is fantastic. I love that Dean is just rocking around with War's ring in his jacket pocket.
Yeah.
And the fact that Dean has been through so much shit that he's basically Daria to the level that a horseman cannot fuck with him is also awesome. It's sad, but epic. And then that Sam like just tears those demons apart is so hot. And then he destroys Famine. Like Sam Winchester in about 30 seconds just ripped an actual horseman of the actual apocalypse apart.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
He can save them all if they let him have his powers.
Yeah. It just comes back to what Wally's always saying, like how the Winchesters can basically kill anything. And he's right.
Yeah. They should be like, I suppose it's because they've gone down the addiction route, so that's why they're trying to make him stop, why he wants to stop. But his powers are powerful. But he's so powerful.
It puts the horror in horror. His powers put the power in power. So I agree with your point. I think Sam is wildly powerful, and it's like I know what you're saying, where it's like with the whole addiction metaphor and everything, and that Sam goes to a darker place when he's on the blood. But there's a part of me that really wants to believe, maybe it's naive, that Sam could be the exception to the rule if the people around him just believed in him and didn't treat him like he was going to be evil. Because what I'm questioning now after seeing this episode is, does the demon blood really make him evil, or was that just Ruby's manipulations? Right?
I don't think
so. Like if
evil.
He has the powers without Ruby manipulating him, if Dean believed in him and stopped calling him a freak and just repeating everything that John said, and if Cass stopped calling him an abomination, right, and got behind him, because Bobby already had this idea, and Bobby's one of the smartest characters. For good. Yeah,
Bobby thought it was a good idea.
I feel like I believe in Bobby too. I feel like Sam would never. Okay, Sam would never. He would never go full dark side. I think he could walk that line and use these very, very dark powers with their very, very dark origins for good. Maybe that's naive of me. Maybe that's silly of me, but I believe in Sam Winchester that hard. I think he could do it. I don't think it would be easy, but I think he could do it. And I kind of wish also, because it's like we're always joking about Sam's convenient to the plot powers.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish we'd seen more of it, to be honest with you, because we hardly saw it. Then he was allowed to go full badass for like the end of a season. And now we get these little drips and jabs of it. But it's just, it's mildly disappointing to me that we don't get a super powered up Sam. And it said they're like, no, you have to detox now.
Yeah. I think it's silly in an apocalypse to not like use him as a really good weapon, really powerful weapon.
Yeah, I hear you. Should we play end of episode games?
Yes. For villain hot or not, I put Famine. No. Men in Black Demons. No. Demon blood drinking Sam. Yes, if he wipes his face.
Villain hot or not, Famine. Rejected. Dracula Sam, hills to the yes.
Yeah.
Scare rating, I already kind of gave it away. I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Oh,
It was
I
terrifying.
did too. Yeah.
Oh, we agreed for once. Look at us
I
go.
gave it a 10 just for the opening scene. I just put, what was that? And Famine is also scary.
Yeah.
Sam drinking demon blood again, and Dean is dead inside.
This would be a great Halloween rewatch, honestly. Like, I need to remember this for when I do the next Halloween Supernatural watch list, like which episodes to watch for Halloween, because this one is gory and terrifying and gross. What were your favorite quotes?
So my favourite quotes are the whole bit where Dean is on the phone to Cass and telling him where they are, and then Cass appears and says, "I'm there now," and Dean says, "Yeah, I got that." And Cass is like, "I'm going to hang up now."
Yeah.
Dean just shouting, "I punched a dick."
Yeah.
And then I had Famine saying, "No one lays a finger on this sweet little boy," but I actually think, where was it? The other line about salmon, the other
salmon. The autocorrect on our podcast, if you read the text, is always Salmon Dean.
Yeah. The other Famine quote I actually want to say is, "You sicked your dog on me, I just threw him a steak." That was good.
That was really good. It was really, really good writing. So
Yeah.
ominous.
What were your favourite quotes?
So my favorite quotes were, "It's when a dog doesn't eat. That's when you know something is really wrong." I died laughing, honestly. That is one of the funniest lines. Like, sassy Sam is more sassy than any other character being sassy ever. Like, he's amazing. Then when Sam says, "Dean, it's Valentine's Day, your favorite holiday, remember? I mean, what do you always call it? Unattached drifter Christmas." And then Dean going, "Hey," and hands Sam one of the actual hearts that they were looking at. "Be my Valentine." That was hilarious. And then Cass saying, "What I'm saying is a Cupid has gone rogue and we have to stop him before he kills again." And Sam says, "Naturally." And Dean says, "Of course we do." And then Sam going, "You punched a Cupid." You just punched a Cupid. Oh my god, I can't. What were your best thirst traps?
Oh, all right. I don't know, I'm repeating myself, but I wrote none. Again, I would have a Sam one if he didn't have blood all over his face.
So mean, Laura. It's not his fault. He was thirsty.
Literally,
he had to save lives. I wrote Dracula Sam and Sad Dean. Because Sad Dean was actually quite hot. Like, Sad Dean in front of Famine being all brave and heroic and shit was amazing. And his heartbreak in this episode, because he's kind of jaunty about it at first, is really charming to me. So yeah, Dracula Sam and Sad Dean.
MVP,
obviously Sam.
Because he defeated Famine.
Cass becomes useless and just wants to eat burgers and then raw meat. And Dean is just the man with a black hole inside him. Like, he's very brave and epic and amazing. I love him more than life itself, but he does not kill Famine, but Sam does. So it goes to Sam.
Yeah, and if Sam hadn't turned up, I don't know what would have happened.
No, I don't know either.
Probably nothing good.
I don't know. I don't know if Dean would have managed to kill Famine, but I'm not sure, because when he's grabbing him, it looks like he could rip his heart out if he wanted to, and Famine's super powerful. So I don't know that would have ended well.
No, I don't. And then the motel rating, I just gave it a 3.5 stars. The red, green, and black wallpaper at the motel was quite nice.
I wrote 0. I hate it.
I feel like we agree with most things, but we don't agree with the motels.
We never agree on the motels, ever. If we agree on the motels, it's a sign of the end times. We rarely agree on the scare rating either. But I think that's it. I think most other things Although the funniest episodes for me, I'd be curious if the listeners want to write in and tell us if this is the same for them. The funniest episodes for me are either when we both hate the episode or when one of us hates it and one of us loves it. We spend the entire
Yeah.
episode arguing over it.
How many episodes are there left?
What, in this season?
Yeah, we must be coming up to the end of the season. And we've only had 2 horsemen so far. No, wait, have we had 2 or 3? What are the 4 horsemen?
We've had war.
We haven't had death. We haven't had
famine.
pestilence. Is that the other one?
Yeah, so there's going to be death, pestilence.
Yeah, that's 4.
Yeah.
Are they both? Are we going to get all 4? I know that death's a thing because you keep talking about him. Is pestilence a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to go before we're in season 6.
That's still quite a few then.
Got 8 episodes left.
So 2 more horsemen, and then I guess the apocalypse.
Yeah. That was
So
very casual.
well, it's less like clearly it's happening.
2026, welcome.
So
Current
yeah,
events.
I still don't really know what to expect though. Well, obviously, apart from the things I've already said, the predictions, but they're not really predictions because it's obvious. Like the whole Michael. Well, I suppose I don't know what's going to happen, but there's going to be some sort of showdown to do with Michael and Lucifer and Sam and Dean, because that's what they keep talking about. But apart from that, I don't have any predictions.
Team Free Will. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good kind of summary of expectations and things. Do you think that we'll see any other kinds of villains? Or do you think it's going to be mostly a main storyline from here on out?
Oh. I mean, if there's 8 episodes left, there might be another couple of fillery ones. Usually when there's a lot of dark episodes in a row, usually when there's a lot of dark episodes in a row, they'll have like a funny one. So maybe we've got another funny one. I don't know.
So lighthearted on our way to the apocalypse. I honestly cannot remember if there's another funny episode between now and everybody's fucked. But we'll find out. We'll find out together.
Yeah.
I know that there is one of the most wholesome and adorable scenes buried in what is otherwise kind of a dark episode coming up real soon.
Okay.
That's a really good one. So there's definitely things that I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
I feel like Cass has some cool growth as well.
Okay. I like Cass.
They kind of continue because he's grown a little bit over this season. He's become a little bit more 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
From the just like alien celestial being of badassery that we first saw him as in the barn scene. So
yeah, and he's like their friend now.
Yeah. Sam Winchester is his bestie. And he's not an abomination anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it from us for today, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. Remember, if you or a friend of yours is really into supernatural and you make fan art or something like that, beaded bracelets, sketching, t-shirts, whatever it is, if it's cool, send it to our email, which you'll hear in about 30 seconds in the outro. If you have stories, if you have spooky stories, it's a new year, which means there will be some sort of Halloween something. So if you want to send us any scary stories that you have, feel free to do that. And the email's always open for submissions of different things because I'm not going to think of everything, right?
Yeah.
So your notes, your hot takes, supernatural thoughts that you have, feel free to go ahead and send that into the email. And remember to watch our stories on Instagram for my little question boxes because that's how you can submit to the mailbag. I'll tell you guys, even though I always forget to do it actually on Instagram, if it's seasons 1 through 5, it can air on the podcast. If it's stuff that happens later, I really welcome those things. And sometimes I'll put them in highlights, but I can't tell Laura because it's spoilers. So yeah, on that note, goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. We would be very grateful. And if you know someone who would enjoy it, please share.
You can find us on Instagram at the Witches of Letters podcast, or you can email us at thewitchesofletters@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay safe out there, have each other's backs, and always keep fighting.